Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and you are officially the most powerful person on the planet. You don't just run a country, you run the entire known world. Your word is the absolute law. If you want someone dead, they vanish. If you want an entire city built, it happens. Immense power. But the city you rule is currently being eaten alive by a horrific plague. Your borders are being smashed by invading armies. Half your children have died before reaching their fifth birthday, and your closest friend just staged a military coup to steal your job. You are exhausted, you are lonely, and you have a massive chronic stomach ulcer that keeps you up all night. What do you think anyone will do in this situation? Will anyone throw a party? Will a king execute anyone? No, this king was quite odd. He was quite different. He opens a notebook and by the light of a single candle, he writes to himself, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break. It stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." Welcome to Nerdvana. Today, we are looking at the real story of history's most reluctant superpower, Marcus Aurelius. To understand Marcus, you have to realize that he never asked for any of this. Marcus was a quiet, introverted kid who grew up in Rome loving two things: reading philosophy and books. He hated political schemes and he hated the spotlight. But when he was 17, the reigning emperor Hadrian was on his deathbed. Hadrian needed a succession plan, and he noticed this remarkably honest, brilliant kid. Hadrian orchestrated a massive legal adoption chain. He basically looked at Marcus and said, "Congratulations, kid, you are now the king of the Roman Empire. Your training starts today." Marcus did not celebrate. Historical records tell us that when he heard the news, he broke down and wept. He knew exactly what was coming: an inescapable lifetime of heavy, crushing duty. In the year 161 CE, at the age of 40, Marcus officially takes the throne, and the universe immediately decides to throw the worst hand of cards imaginable at him. First, a devastating pandemic, the Antonine Plague, sweeps through Europe. It's likely smallpox, and it kills up to a one third of the population. People are dropping dead in the streets of Rome by the thousands. Then the borders collapse. Fierce Germanic tribes cross the Danube River, invading Roman territory. Marcus, who was a peaceful intellectual and has never commanded an army in his life, is forced to pack his bags, leave his comfortable palace, and spend the next 10 years living in muddy, freezing military outposts on the front line. And it gets worse. While he is fighting in the freezing cold, his children are dying back home. Out of 14 kids, only a few survive to adulthood. Then his adoptive brother and co emperor dies. And to top it all off, his top general in the east, Avidius Cassius, spreads a rumor that Marcus is dead and declares himself the new emperor, forcing Marcus to prepare for a bloody civil war against his own people, and when he did not want to. If anyone had the right to scream at the sky, curse the unfairness of the universe, and throw a massive cosmic tantrum, it was Marcus Aurelius. But he did not do that. Instead, every night after the battles were over and the camp went quiet, he opened his private journal. He did not write to publish it or gain external validation. He wrote it as a survival mechanism. This book is what we know today as the Meditations. Marcus used a school of psychology called Stoicism to build what he called an inner citadel, a mental fortress that the chaos of the outside world could not breach. He reminded himself of three brutal truths every single night. First is control versus non control. Marcus wrote that he could not control the plague, he could not control the weather, and he could not control the actions of the invading armies. The only thing that he could control was his response to external situations. The second truth is unconditional acceptance. He stopped demanding that a chaotic universe be fair. He accepted that life is a chaotic lottery and screaming at reality does not change reality. It just makes you a bitter victim. And the third truth is memento mori. He constantly reminded himself that he, his empire, and all his troubles would eventually be forgotten dust. That kept him grounded. When his general betrayed him, Marcus did not get furious. He publicly forgave the man's family and wept when the general was assassinated by his own soldiers because Marcus wanted the chance to forgive him face to face. In 180 CE, at a freezing outpost in modern day Austria, Marcus Aurelius died at the age of 58, likely taken by the very plague he spent years fighting. His death marked the official end of Rome's golden era. The life of Marcus tells an incredible story. The universe is completely indifferent. It does not care about our plans, it doesn't care about our ethics, and the lottery of life is profoundly unfair. But Marcus Aurelius proved that you don't need a fair universe to live a meaningful life. When handed the most high stress, chaotic hand of cards in human history, he did not fold. He built his fortress within himself, treated people with radical kindness, and played the hell out of his hand anyways. The next time you feel like the world is completely rigged against you, remember this reluctant emperor sitting in his tent, looking out at the freezing dark, reminding himself the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Thanks for watching Nerdvana. If you like this video, please share it. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you the next time. Thank you so much for listening.